Yeah, it was a really good scene. It was really hot. It was really hot. I have Jesus looking at me disapprovingly. He literally has a devil tattoo on his neck. All black, like our souls. If he wanted to, he would. Hi besties! I am so incredibly excited to be starting today's video. I am going to be reading dark romance for the next week or two. I'm so excited to be back in my dark romance era. I have been binging mafia romances for like the past week or two, and I feel like I just need to continue on with that little rabbit hole. To be quite honest, it's been a hot minute since I've been in a dark romance mood, but I feel like we're moving into winter, the weather is cooling down, and my dark romance desires are kind of coming forth again. I no longer want the like cutesy little college hockey romances. I want the like crime syndicates and the death and the murder, not the misogyny, but I want the like underbelly of romance. Is that a good way to describe it? I don't know. But the first book that I have already actually picked up is The Enemy in My Bed by L.K. Shaw. I finished the first book in this series, which is The Devil I Don't Know, in like 2 days. It was so addictive, so easy to read. It wasn't like spectacular by any means, but it hit like all the spots that I wanted it to. It was just a very simple arranged marriage. And now The Enemy in My Bed, of which I'm 35% into, follows Pierce and Mila. Pierce is kind of like the enforcer of the organization, and Mila is a Russian woman who they kind of believe is a spy and has these like big Russian secrets, but in reality she is just a girl and she has revenge on her mind. I'm not as obsessed with it as I was with the first book, but it's really easy to read, so I'm gonna keep going and I will update you once I'm a little bit further in. And yeah, I really hope you enjoy this video because I am gonna have the time of my life. Have some mixed opinions to update you on. So I am now 71% into The Enemy in My Bed and I'm not sure how I feel about it. So we obviously have Pierce and Mila, who are our main characters. Now Mila has a bit of a traumatic history, as most characters in dark romances do. So at a young age she was kidnapped by the Russian leader's son, and she was essentially tortured and raped and held captive for a while until he just like set her free, let her go. They also took her little sister as well and sold her to the Polish mob. And so Mila, as she should, has a pretty heavy grudge. She's on a revenge mission, and so she spent sort of the past 6 months sneaking into the Russian like headquarters, compound, whatever the hell it is. She has been like spying and like sleeping with this particular man to gain information, just like one of the soldiers in the compound. And so yeah, that's what she's been getting up to until this book starts. So this book essentially starts when Mila, how do I say this without spoiling the first book? Some shit goes down at the Russian place and the Italians get their hands on Mila and like hold her captive instead. And this is where Pierce comes in. Now, Pierce is a funny one. He is like painted as the typical like cold, no emotions, like enforcer. He literally has a devil tattoo on his neck. I feel like that tells you enough about him. And so he has been put in charge of like torturing Mila and trying to get information out of her because the Italians believe that Mila was like in affiliation with the Russians because she was found on their compound. Pierce has been put in charge of getting information out of her, and he also has a vendetta against the Russians because his sister was kidnapped by them when she was like 18, and she was tortured and raped, again similar to Mila, and that was obviously a very traumatic experience for both Pierce and his sister, and naturally he wants revenge on the people that took her. But the thing that gets me is he is trying to get information out of Mila the exact same way that the Russians treated his sister. So it's like, sir, you of all people should know better and should understand the effects that this is going to have on her. Like, fair enough, you want your revenge, but Jesus Christ, calm down. So it's just a very confusing time. It was like that up until like 50%, where it was like dubious consent, rapey vibes. Not sure how I feel about all that. And now that Pierce has started warming up to Mila, he's also promised her that he's going to get her sister back. So it's like their relationship just feels very conflicted. There's just this constant thing looming over like the entire plot of, is Mila appeasing Pierce purely because he's going to get her sister back? Do they actually feel feelings for each other whatsoever? Is Pierce having like the wool pulled over his eyes? Like, do they actually like each other? You know, it just feels like they're using each other, and I'm 70% in. I would very much like to have some reassurance and some faith in this couple, because right now I'm really not sure how to feel about them, and I don't know, I'm probably going to finish this book tonight because I've only got an hour and a half left, but it's either going to be a love or hate thing, like depending how this last 30% goes, but I'm eager to get back in. So yeah, the next time you see me, I will have finished The Enemy in My Bed. If I said in my last little update what book I was going to read next. Yeah, babe, but the reason you can't remember is because you never filmed that clip. So hi, I'm here to fill you in on my thoughts on The Enemy in My Bed. I did write down my thoughts because head empty, no thoughts. Lights are on, no one's home. So if I'm looking that way, that's why. So The Enemy in My Bed, I feel like I need to hold something. The way it's not even going to show me the cover. Bestie, I need a prop. There we go. So according to the Kindle, The Enemy in My Bed is about 290 pages long. However, it only took me 4.5 hours to read, which I'm not a fast reader. Like, I'm impressed with the fact that I read that much in 4.5 hours. But I feel like with that comes a lack of depth. Just the fact that it's a shorter book. It was definitely lacking like a lot of reasoning and explanation. Like the kidnapper who is in Mila's past, who the entire revenge plot is like orbiting around, he just let her go. For what reason? Like, I'm glad you let bestie girl go and didn't like hold her captive and keep torturing her, but for what reason? Why did you let her go? And then why did you take her sister? Like, questions are being asked and there was no answers given. So yeah, there was just a bit of depth lacking. It felt very surface level. Like, not that there's necessarily anything wrong with that, but I like a bit more substance to my dark romances. I like a bit more plot and a bit more like convolution. Is that the word? Convoluted plots. I like them. I did like that Pierce eventually showed his soft side to Mila and actually treated her with respect. Could you imagine? However, he was never really fully redeemed for me because this man locked her in his house and then didn't give her any other option than to become his and like stay in this house with him. Like, he gave her the illusion of freedom, but it was never really an option. There was a very like Nino Falcone-esque moment where Pierce gave control over to Mila, but all in all their story just felt very unsatisfying. Like, let me read my notes so I get this right. There was no I love you in the book, so it just felt very unfinished and like a happy for now kind of moment. And apparently that's all I wrote, so I'm actually gonna mull over this book for another couple of days before I give you my final rating. I'll probably wait to the end of the video and like sum up all of the books at once. But yeah, this one, it was okay, but I have mixed feelings. And now back to past Sophia to update you about my next read. But I have news, and I've also redecorated my Kindle, and I have Jesus looking at me disapprovingly because it's just funny. I'm not religious, but it's funny. So the book that I've started is Black Sheep by Bryn Weaver and Alexa Harlow. I am reading it on my Kindle, but I have the physical copy as well. I think I'm like bang on 29% in, and so far it's definitely intriguing. So basically both of our main characters are on the hunt for this cult leader because, as cult leaders do, they're doing some pretty sketchy things. I can't remember if I've read what they're doing or if that's like to come, but anyway, they're on the hunt for this cult leader, and essentially our main male character Eli, who is a psychology professor, is doing it legally with the help of an FBI agent, and Bria, our main female character, is doing it illegally. She is basically slowly murdering her way through all of the like cult associates, so like their accountants, their lawyers. The book actually opens with a murder scene. Well, yeah, she's like seducing him and then murders him, and let me just tell you, that grabbed my attention like right away. I was hooked. It felt very like Lana Myers, which very much enjoy. I love the Mindfuck series, so I was really excited to get into this. Thus far though, I'm not like obsessed with either character. I'm very intrigued by the story and I'm definitely gonna keep reading, but like I'm not in love, let's just put it that way. The writing, however, oh my god, I love the writing so much. It's very, I wouldn't say easy, but it's just constructed very well, and my brain likes the way that it's written. And I'm not sure if either of the authors have a background in like medicine or science or chemistry or biology or whatever, but they're dropping like a lot of anatomical terms and a lot of chemicals, like chemicals that like anesthetize people and like paralyze them kind of vibes. Because Bria is also like studying psychology, and she's like, I think she's got a degree and she's doing a master's or something. It's very fun though. I really am enjoying the like medical term dropping because it makes me feel really smart, because I'm like, I know what that is. Yeah, all that is to say, I'm very much enjoying this book so far. It's not like the darkest. I mean, there is like on-page murder and it's pretty gory. Like they are murderers but for a good cause, so it's not like too bad. Yeah, I'm gonna keep reading and hopefully she picks up a little bit. Hopefully I start falling in love with the characters, and I'll update you when I'm a little bit further in. I'm just gonna hope and pray that I'm in focus right now, because do you guys notice a quality improvement? I bought myself a camera. I have no idea how to use it yet, so I'm just hoping and praying this is gonna go well. But I have an update for you on Black Sheep. I am literally so tired. I worked all day today and I'm exhausted, but I want to try and finish this book tonight, so I figured I need to give you another update before I finish it, given the last time I updated you was like 30% in, I think. So I'm now 78% into Black Sheep and things have definitely improved. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I was at 30%. My main sort of like takeaway at the moment, I guess, is there is a lot more sex than I was expecting, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, it's written well, and like given the content warnings of being like lots of BDSM and consent and non-consent, I'm not surprised. It's just, I don't know, I haven't read a super spicy book in a long time, so it's a little bit strange to read heaps of it in this. It's written well, I'm enjoying it, like it's fun, whatever. Although with all of that being said, it feels like the plot has fallen to the wayside a little bit. Like the plot in the middle of this book just feels like it's sagging quite a bit. Like it was very heavy at the beginning until sort of Brie and Eli like got together, and now 78% in, it feels like we're getting into the like final plots of the book, so it's like ramping back up again. I do wish Eli's sort of side plot was a little bit more fleshed out, because he's supposed to be hunting down the cult as well with the help of the FBI agent, but all we sort of get for that plot is a couple of random emails here and there, so it's like it's just not really present, which I really wish it was. And I wish like Eli and Bria were like discovering things side by side, or like maybe Eli would want something and Bria would like contradict him and like mess it up or anything. I think that would have been really fun. However, so far that hasn't happened. Speaking about Eli and Bria, they have actually grown on me a lot more. It's giving very much like a golden retriever black cat, which is a dynamic that I really enjoy. I'm really enjoying Bria's character as well, because if there is one trope that I'm the biggest fan of, it is when the heroine is like unflappable, cold, murderous. She wants to love and be loved but just like can't quite figure it out. Like I will die for that trope every time, and Bria, oh, she is like the epitome of it. And then to have the contrast of Eli being like a little bit silly, a little bit goofy, but like still hot, it's nice. It's a very nice balance. There was actually one scene which I wish there was more of it in the book, but Eli rides motorcycles, so there was this scene where they went to this like motorcycle meet, this like motorcycle race, and it was so hot. Like all of the bikers that keep showing up on my For You page on TikTok, I feel like they've all prepared me for this moment. Like my imagination was going wild, but yeah, it was a really good scene. It was really hot. It was really hot. It made me see Eli in a new light. And that is my update for now. I'm terrified that I like have not got the settings right on this at the moment. I'm gonna go hopefully finish this book now. Maybe I'll finish tomorrow. Maybe I'll finish tonight. We'll see. Winter has well and truly arrived, you guys. I feel like I spent the first half of this video in like t-shirt and shorts, and now I'm in a jumper and track pants. It is freezing, but I'm not here to talk about the weather with you. I finished Black Sheep by Bryn Weaver and Alexa Harlow, and I'm also hoping and praying that I've sorted out the settings on my camera. The microphone kept like getting blown out, and I hope I fixed that. If there's issues with the second clip, I promise I will invest in a proper microphone. But yes, I finished Black Sheep by Alexa Harlow and Bryn Weaver, and I know I said I wasn't going to give star ratings until the end, but I think I'm going to settle on a 4 and maybe like a 4 out of 5 on my spicy scale, because she was spicy, girl. She was smart. As per usual, I have written myself notes as well, because I cannot form a single coherent thought when I'm on camera. So Black Sheep, I can confidently say that it got a lot better in that last 30%. I feel like the first like 40% and the last 30% were really, really good, and the middle 30% was just like them having sex, and that was like it. But yeah, the last 30%, if I am anything, I am a sucker for an action scene in a romance novel. Like, oh, it gets the heart pumping, like, oh my god, I love it. Like, oh, just the intensity and like the action and just like the killing and the guns and just, oh, it's so good. It's so good. I love it. And that is indeed a clue about what went down in that final 30%. Although I know I said in my last update that I wish there was more murder, and I, to be honest, still stand by that. I read someone's Goodreads review after I finished the book. They basically just talked about how if they're picking up a book because the heroine is a serial killer, then they want this like intense, gritty, emotional, like pull at your heartstrings, question your morality kind of read. And while I think Black Sheep had like essence, like it had a few little moments where I was like, holy shit, it did kind of lack that whole je ne sais quoi, shall we say. Like it didn't quite have that same grit and intensity that say the Mindfuck series did. I will also say, I know I've touched a lot about how it's a really spicy read. I actually wish the romance took a little bit longer to develop. Like you can still have the spice, okay? They can hate each other and still be spicy, right? Like that just makes it almost better because it's like heaps of tension. But I feel like they fell in love a little bit too quickly, or at least Eli did with Bria. Like when he told her I loved you, I was like, huh? Can we calm down a little bit? Can we maybe wait a second? I feel like that happened a little bit too early in the book, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. I get that he feels big emotions and we love a man who can show emotions, so I'm gonna forgive him. Oh, coming back to the ending, that's one thing I wrote down on my notes. It's genuinely played out like a movie. Like it's something that I love about Sophie Lark's romance and the action scenes in her books, because they play out like a movie in my head. And the end of this one, it was like 7 bullets in the chamber, counting them down, and then there was this moment where my heart just like dropped. Like, girl, oh, it was really good. I've got goosebumps right now because it was just like, I love an action scene in a romance book, please. Oh, that's something that dark romance I find does really well, is the action scenes, usually, not always. I will actually talk at you for a second about, so I'm doing a creative writing course at uni as one of my electives. I don't study English, I study biomedical science, but I'm doing my elective as a creative writing course because your girl maybe wants to write some things. Am I in focus? I feel like I'm not in focus. Apparently I am. Anyway, your girl wants to write some things, okay? But I feel like doing this course is making me pick apart all of my books and making me see their flaws, and I'm not enjoying that. I don't love that aspect. But this week's topic is creative nonfiction, and I watched the lecture like 5 minutes ago, which is why I'm bringing this up. But the professor was talking about how when you're writing creative nonfiction and like autobiographically, I think I said that right. When you're writing autobiographically, you have to kind of step outside of yourself and observe yourself as a complex character and like analyze your strengths and your weaknesses. And like, I'm not 100% if this applies to creative fiction as well, like I would assume it would, but I feel like the author has to kind of step outside of the characters and observe their strengths and weaknesses. And I feel like this is coming to a point, I promise. I feel like Bria's character was just a little bit overpowered. I feel like her character was just a little bit unbalanced. Like obviously she had the strengths in like being a murderous girly, right? But I feel like she didn't have a whole lot of weaknesses. Like you could argue that her falling in love and not knowing how to love could be a weakness, but at the same time it's also a strength because she gained this like knowledge, this new knowledge and like this new perspective, and changed her goals and her like trajectory, I guess. So you can argue that it's a weakness or a strength, but I don't know. I would have liked to see, I don't even know what sort of weaknesses, but just something that made her feel relatable, because she was just this like highly intelligent, like could kill anybody kind of badass girly. And you know, that's cool. Like there was moments, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. Her character just felt overpowered is my whole point. So yeah, I think that is all I have to say about Black Sheep. Overall, I really enjoyed like the banter between the two characters. I think that was written really well. I absolutely adore the writing style. Like it just digested so well for me. I really enjoyed it. I do also like how Eli essentially worshipped the ground Bria walked on. Like he was head over heels. And I think my favorite part was probably watching her learn how to fall in love, I guess. But yeah, what are we going to talk about next? So a little bit of a story time for you guys. I tried to pick up By Frenzy I Ruin after Black Sheep and I got icked out so bad. So basically I have to be in a very specific mood to read Cora Riley these days. Like I used to absolutely worship the ground she walked on, but now I have to be in a very specific mood to read her books and I have to like crave them. I was not craving them. So I got about a page in, and there was this one paragraph. I am going to read it to you. He's talking about how him and 2 of his friends are like the unholy trinity and they're just like causing havoc. So music blasted from the speakers of my all black Dodge Ram. First of all, get yourself a Hilux. All black like our clothes, from our steel-toed boots to black cargo pants, leather cuffs, bandanas, balaclavas to our weapons, even up to the blades. All black like our souls. I'm sorry, you're like 18, live a very privileged mafia life. Like, what do you mean? Ew, I didn't even read this far the first time. The inside glowed red from the dashboard and the small LEDs in the center console and doors. Even my headlights had a red tinge. The red because of the blood that would soon stain our skin and clothes. My pulse sped up in the eagerness, thinking of the scent and soft texture. Listen, I promise you old Cora Riley was really good, but I can't read that right now. I will get there eventually. Hi, I'm editing right now and I realized that I talked so much smack just then. I just want to say I know Cora is a really competent writer. She's written a psychopath before in Remo and I absolutely adore him. Nevio is Remo's son. And I feel like he's just never going to live up to his dad. And that's the point that I'm trying to get across. Like, it's just coming across cringy because there's no actual grit to his characters. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I still love Cora. And I will read this book eventually, but right now is not the right time for me. So the book that I actually picked up is Painted Scars by Neva Altaj. Of course, I'm continuing with my little mafia obsession. To be quite honest, I would love a small town romance or like a hockey romance right now, but I want to finish this video. So I picked up Painted Scars by Neva Altaj. I am reading it on my Kindle because it's just easier. So I'm about 35% in and I'm actually really enjoying it. It was like off to a bit of a rough start. Not because of the plot or anything, but just because I didn't love the writing style, but I've kind of gotten over it now. And it low-key feels like old school Cora Riley, which I'm very much enjoying. So this one is basically like a fake marriage. Like, I think her father owes him a lot, like $3 million, and he is like, give me your daughter as payment. You know, and he is also struggling with maintaining power in the Russian Brava. This is a Russian mafia romance. He is struggling with maintaining power because he was involved in a car explosion, which was, I think, an inside job, and his knee got shattered, so he's been wheelchair bound. He's doing physical therapy and like slowly regaining the ability to walk, but he mostly gets around in a wheelchair. And there is nothing wrong with someone being in a wheelchair, like, but in this backwards little Russian world, it's seen as being like a signal that the Pacan is weaker. So he's like, I need a wife and I need an heir to like signal my strength, I suppose. So yeah, he takes her and they're getting along actually pretty well. I'm quite liking the characters. Like she is so funny. I love her character so much. I can't even like describe to you what I love about her, but she's just so like nuts and I love it. But she's absolutely not like a doormat, which I was a little bit concerned about, but she's so fun. I love her. And then he is like, they've had a few soft moments and it's been really, really cute, like so cute, but he's obviously a murderous guy, right? He has murderous intentions, but yeah, I don't know, them together is just like really a vibe so far. I will flesh out my thoughts a little bit more. As I said, cannot form a coherent thought when I'm on camera, so I will write them down. Yeah, I'm actually really enjoying it so far and I'll probably continue the series. Like, I'm really, really enjoying it. Like, really enjoying it. Anyway, I'm gonna go keep reading. I have like 3 hours left. That's one thing about this book. It's very short, which I love. So I am actually probably gonna try and finish this today so that I can get this video done. But yeah, I'm gonna go keep reading. I'm so excited. I will try and take some b-roll for you as well because I'm very aware that this video does not have a lot of b-roll. I will go keep reading, probably edit this clip. How long is it? I can't tell. Can I tell? Oh my god, it's 15 minutes. I need to shut up. Okay, I will catch you guys when I have some more thoughts. Has a fear of men towering over her, and so he instructed all of his men to sit in her presence. If he wanted to, he would. So as it may be obvious from the b-roll that I filmed, oh my god, I didn't spend the afternoon reading. I gamed a little bit instead because, you know, we're gonna mix it up a little bit, keep you on your toes. But it is 9 o'clock and I just finished Painted Scars by Neva Altaj. I actually really liked it. Oh, am I gonna make a big statement? No, I'm not gonna make a big statement. I was gonna say it might be my favorite book that I've read in this video, but I think it could be like tied with Black Sheep. I am gonna sleep on my thoughts because I don't want to like say anything rash, you know. I want to mull over my feelings. But I really enjoyed it. Like I really enjoyed it. Like it was short and there wasn't like a whole lot of plot, but the characters absolutely made up for it. Like they weren't even like that deep of characters. Like we didn't really get a whole lot of their backstory or anything, but my voice is so gravelly right now. Oh my god. Their characterization and their personalities and just, oh, I love them so much. So much. I'm absolutely going to be continuing the series. I think the next one could potentially be another arranged marriage between one of the Russian guys and an Italian girl. So that's fun. It could be totally wrong, but I'm looking forward to reading it. I'm so happy that I enjoyed that book. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. But now I'm probably going to start like a hockey romance or something, or maybe like a small town romance, because I've read like 6 dark romances in a row and it's been a lot. But I will give you a more comprehensive update tomorrow morning, and yeah, then I will sum up everything that we've read in this video. And alrighty, so last night I finished Painted Scars by Neva Altaj. I can't remember if I said when I told you about like the plot. I don't really have anything else to tell you about the plot, that's kind of it, but it is a fake marriage and she actually goes along with it. It's not against her will, and she actually has a lot of fun with it, where she like makes up this entire personality of like a trophy wife and like fools the rest of the house in order to like get to the bottom of who was behind the explosion that like ruined his knee. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really funny. But otherwise this book was just like a short, fun, it didn't take too many brain cells, it kind of a read. There wasn't like a whole lot of plot. It was mainly just relying on the character personality, and luckily I liked the character personalities, so I liked the book. I do wish Neva took the like character connection to a little bit of a deeper level, because they didn't connect on a whole lot and it was just like very surface level, and like I don't know that they really even explained their traumas to each other, and like that's like a requirement in a romance book. The spice in this book as well was such a contrast to Black Sheep. There was a few scenes, but they each lasted maybe a paragraph. There was not a lot of foreplay. It just like wasn't the hottest, but I wasn't really reading this book for the spicy scenes, so I'm not upset. I didn't go into it expecting a really smutty read, so it's fine. And the ending of this one did feel a tiny little bit rushed. I've seen some other people say that the ending felt a bit rushed, where the third act climax was resolved and then the book just ends. Like that's the last scene. And I do wish we got to see them, I guess, like spend some more time together and actually like build on their relationship after the third act conflict. But maybe we'll see that in the next book, because it is a series and I'm pretty sure it's interconnected, so we probably will see them again. I'm looking forward to reading the next one in the series. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it dives a little bit deeper. And that is kind of all I have to say on Painted Scars. It was pretty good, and yeah, you have now officially made it to the end of the video, where I'm going to do all my wrap-ups. I'm going to quickly tell you the star ratings, the spicy ratings, how dark each book was. So for the most part we managed to avoid the misogyny, except for one book, which was The Enemy in My Bed by L.K. Shaw. This one was just really strange. Like it was a bit of a like sort of kidnapper captive narrative, but then there was like so much consensual non-consent and like just non-con in general, where it made me a little bit uncomfortable. That is one thing in books that I can read it, I just don't like to. So this one I think I'm gonna settle on a 3-star. I thought about dropping it to a 2.75, but I've already filmed my like wrap up with this book, so I don't want to change it too much. And I would probably like, I don't really want to give it a spicy rating because of the sexual content in this book. It may be a little bit uncomfortable, but I would probably give it like a 2 or a 2.5 out of 5. There wasn't a whole lot, but it was like relatively detailed, I guess. And if you're into non-con, then probably really enjoy this book. The next book that I read, I think, is probably the favorite book of the video. I can't lie. So Black Sheep by Bryn Weaver and Alexa Harlow. I think I'm going to settle on a 4-star for this one. And I'm also going to give it a 4 out of 5 on the spicy scale, because she was spicy. There was a lot and it was very detailed, and yeah, lots of things were explored, let's put it that way. And finally, Miss Painted Scars by Neva Altaj. I think I'm gonna settle on a 3.75 star and like a 1.5 out of 5 for the spicy rating. In terms of darkness of all of these books, I think Painted Scars is definitely the lightest. There's like, it touches on some dark subjects, but it doesn't really go into much detail whatsoever. Then I would say, I don't really know how to like classify these guys in darkness, because this one, it has non-con and it also has like mentions of rape and like sex trafficking and like the underbelly of dark romance, you know. But then Black Sheep has like gore and like detailed murder scenes, and I would probably say The Enemy in My Bed is the darkest book that I read in this video, but that's like purely just because of the non-con and the kidnapper captive plot. But I do think Black Sheep is my favorite of the video, and there was definitely some darker elements with like the whole cult involvement and things, but like it didn't go too deep. Okay, and there we have the 3 books that I read in this video, in this dark romance reading vlog. I actually had so much fun filming this video. I definitely want to film more in the future, maybe with like different tropes. Maybe you want a hockey romance one, that could be fun. Definitely want to do another dark romance one though, because it was just so fun and I love talking to you guys about like my thoughts on books and really getting into deep depths about them. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I had an absolute blast. I'm so happy that I filmed it, and yeah, if you did enjoy, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, because I would absolutely love to have you here. My Instagram and Goodreads are always linked in the description if you want to check them out, if you want to see what I'm reading, keep up with what I'm reading when I'm rating books. And yeah, thank you so much for watching once again, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!